Hello and welcome to the interview on France 24. I'm Stephanie Antoine speaking from Geneva in Switzerland. Business people have gathered here to discuss opportunities in Africa. And my guest is Mo Ibrahim. He's the founder and president of the Mo Ibrahim Foundation. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to start a little bit with your background, Mo Ibrahim. You built one of the first mobile phone networks in Africa. It's called Celtel, a mobile phone company that now serves 23 countries in Africa and in the Middle East, and you sold it in 2005. You were a true entrepreneur. What was key in your success?
I think we saw the opportunity. Africa lacked telecommunications. It's a huge continent which is disconnected. Meanwhile, the major operators, the Vodafones, the Oranges of this world, were not really that interested in Africa.
They missed
especially
something.
Sub-Sahara Africa. It was seen, let's be frank, Africa has a bad reputation. The image of Africa is extremely bad. And while Africa can have some challenges, I think there is a big gap between Africa reputation or perception of Africa and reality. And whenever there is a gap between perception and reality, this is a great business opportunity.
And especially in technology? Or
yeah, in any field. Once, you know, if investors are afraid for some unrealistic reason because of wrong perception, it's a great business opportunity. We have less competitors.
So you felt the opportunity back then. What were the biggest hurdles for you?
Of course, it was difficult. Building mobile networks across Africa was very difficult because you take France, for example, telecom company like SFR or Bouygues, when they build a mobile network, they just overlay the mobile element of network, but they use the infrastructure of the fixed operator to connect their base station, etc. Everything is in the ground. This did not exist in Africa. So we don't only build a mobile network, but also have to build the fixed network, the foundation for that network, the connectivity. So we have to build that ourselves, the microwaves, the cables, etc.
So you needed lots of investment.
It was investment. It is too costly and too difficult physically to do. There's also the problem of funding. Typically, mobile companies get probably 60–70% funding of their capital from the banks, etc. Banks don't do Africa. And
so how did you do it?
we have to raise equity all the time. So I have to fund the business completely by equity, which was really quite a challenge. So there was, again, the physical environment. You need power, for example. In Europe, you just make a phone call and you got your power connection. Power in Africa is scarce. So for every base station, every radio station in Africa, and I have tens of thousands of these, we have to put our own generators. And then you have to put standby generator. Then you have to put batteries. And then every morning, somebody have to go to all these space stations with fuel to enable generators to work. So it is a lot of hard work in order to build a network from scratch. But it was a product which was badly needed, and it proved to be a wonderful success. So yes, a lot of sweat, a lot of hard work, but we have also good rewards for doing it.
Actually, Sub-Saharan Africa can meet growth expectations, apparently, of more than 6% this year, despite slowdown in China, and 5.3% growth is expected in Africa. Has Africa become now, when we talk about your experience, actually the new place for business? And is it still the place for business?
We're getting there. I think Africa has a great potential. We have 1 billion people in need of everything: consumer products, infrastructure, water, electricity. So there's a huge opportunity for business there. Also, the quality of governance is improving. Rule of law is important, is improving. So the enabling environment...
Depends on the countries, I'm sure.
Of course, but in general, because we do in my foundation, we produce the index of governance. So we measure all the parameters in Africa every year, and we have data, over 93,000 points of data for African countries over the last 10 years. And it shows there is improvement in the governance in Africa. That creates a better environment for business. So things are moving forward. I hope they should move a little bit faster, but we are moving forward.
How could they actually move faster, you think?
We really need to improve on the issues of rule of law and security. Conflicts, we need to...
So that depends on governments?
Yeah, to a large extent, because why you can have conflict? Why we do have conflicts? We can have conflicts when the governments marginalize some sector of population, or when you have inequality, and that produce tensions in the fabric of society. So good governance will help really ease these tensions, and citizens need to feel they are really treated as citizens, respected, their rights are preserved, and there is a sense of equality. And that's important to produce the kind of society which is ready to prosper and move forward.
Is there still a long way to go?
We have some way to go.
Some way to go. European companies actually have withdrawn from Africa these past 10 years, when at the same time the Chinese have invested a great deal. Some people say it's a new colonialism. What's your take on this?
I don't know. When China invests in Africa, people say new colonialism. But when American or French companies invest in Africa, it is...
But they haven't been there for 10 years, the French.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think I should be frank with you. Africa in general was colonized either by the British or the French. So British companies and French companies had a very easy time, okay? Because these were colonies. And as such, they got preference in whatever deals you want to make. That situation changed. So businessmen have to work harder, have to compete. And unfortunately, bad habits takes time to die. And so there is this laziness among Western investors, because you used to have this low-hanging fruit. Now they have to compete with other people, so they have to sharpen their act. And it's tough business like anywhere else in the world, and they have to go and win it.
What about the Chinese? What do you think of what they've been doing in Africa for the past 10 years?
It is wonderful that China became interested in Africa. The more business partners we have, the better. Look, the prices of our raw materials improved a lot once we had competition. Before that, it was stagnant since the Second World War. Why? Suddenly Chinese comes and the prices goes up. So we're about to start to achieve the market, real market price, and that can only be achieved under fair competition. So Chinese are welcome. But of course, Chinese also have to start from where Europeans ended, not from where they started. So
what do you mean by
we need clean business. We need clean business, and from everybody. We need people to pay taxes. I mean, business, multinational business, usually doesn't pay taxes in Africa. We have been saying that for years. Now Europeans started to realize that they're also victim of this, and we heard the stories of some, with a Starbucks or Google or whoever,
don't pay taxes.
transfer
Yeah.
prices, and all these issues. And this practice should stop. And of course, European and American government also need to help, because there is this strange competition to attract multinational business to your domicile, and then the Irish say to Google, I charge you only 2% if you book all your sales through Ireland.
Do you think the Chinese, they don't pay tax?
Well, I think they should also pay taxes like everybody else, and we really need to get rid of this fictitious situation where we have nominees companies in strange places, sometimes not strange places, sometimes they are in London or Delaware, and you don't know who owns what. We need transparency. We really need transparency around us about ownership of companies, and really clear tax structures where we need cooperation between governments, because at the moment we have a race to the bottom.
And how could transparency improve?
This can improve by the determined acts really of the G8, of the bigger economies. We need to improve corporate governance, we need to improve laws, etc. Some steps are being taken, and we need to continue to build on that. Okay. So we all need to act better. In this time, in this world, there's no more secrets. There is strong light shining on all of us, and it's better to behave better, because we'll find out who's doing what to whom.
Thank you so much, Mo Ibrahim.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for watching. Stay with us on France 24.
Thank you.